Hi everyone, I wanted to build a small video about the new upcoming release, and I wanted to make sure that first you're able to have your favorite IDE. In this case, on my side, I'm using Eclipse, and I have imported the Shopizer that I've downloaded from GitHub and imported the root of the project as a Maven project. And once everything is imported, I just run on the root of the project maven clean maven install. Okay, maven clean maven install, and after that, I once everything is built successfully, I just go open shop, which is the main web application, and I run shop application as run as Java application. By default, the application is configured with H2 file database, and which saves the data in a file, and it is also configured with InfiniSpan to save the image locally in the disk. So you don't need to configure out of the box. You don't need to do any configuration to make the software work. So right now I've started the application and it runs on port 8080. So I just launch a new browser and I type in localhost port 8080 and I got a default page, which is the demo site that is given with any download. So instead of having a demo site running on Shopizer website, I created a small demo that you can run out of the box without doing anything. It gives you an idea of what the software looks like and what you can do with it. Also, the demo is also configured um, on the link demo.shopizer.com on port 8080. The same thing exactly. And it's not fully completed, but once it is completed, I'll publish it on the website. So you have here it's a standard e-commerce website that around the selling handbags, and this website is deployed on Google Cloud Platform, and this is configured as a Docker image inside a virtual machine instance. So for those who are interested in knowing more details, I can give you more details on how it is configured and how it is easy to use and configure and start and run, and the price for running that is very cheap. Okay, so that being said, it won't take too long. I just wanted to introduce you to what we did for the version 2.2.0. Of course, no changes done to the infra or the framework on which Shopizer is built on, so it's still Spring Boot. And mainly the new stuff that was added is an API. The API can be found in a SM Shop, so it's under the store package, and then you have the API here. So those packages here under V0 are the old API. So a new set of API was built under V1 here. So you will find all the APIs related to the shopping cart, everything related to search, product management, adding it to a group, like featured item, manage product images, reviews, ordering stuff, the order processing, performing a payment, shipping, calculating a total, customer management, category management. So the thing is that it's those are basic APIs. Some of them are missing, so there will be a lot more of APIs to be added here, and all of this, all of the API, they just rely on the existing code which can be found under controller for each of the functionality. For instance, you have the category here and there's a facade. Okay, so all of the API as well as the controller, they go through the same facade, so they have the same business logic, and there's no duplication of code. So the same logic and the same services are used underneath for serving the controller and the API. So there will be a lot to be built under the API. One of the functionality that would be great to have is to have a voucher functionality which can be added under shopping cart. So when you go into the checkout page here, it would be really cool to have a input fields here in which you would put a voucher code that will give you some sort of discounts based on specific rules. So that as a functionality that was asked many times but does not exist yet. So it would be it will be one of the functionality to be added in the back end. Uh, okay, and the big functionality will be to the migration of the admin tool. So right now, if I go in the admin, and for those of you who haven't explored yet, the administration and the back end of the system, it looks like this. So the logon page is not too bad. Um, Although one of the things that will have to be revised is the password reset. Uh, this is crappy. I'm not sure if it's broken or not, but I don't think it's something that was updated recently, and it will have to be revised totally. So in the admin interface, here's the UI. So the UI is built on Bootstrap CSS. The version 1, it's quite old, it's outdated. The components that are used for doing, the table components like this one, that's cool for doing a search. Like it searches as you type. But the components here, it's very complicated and very complex, and the it's really it takes time to understand how those components work. Uh, those components were built a long time ago, so right now there are some cool JavaScript frameworks and API that offer the same without too much effort. So that's where it should go. And also, as you can see, the screen is very is not very large. It doesn't take advantage of the size of the browser. So and it's quite old, so it's not responsive, and there's some things that are missing. So the UI that there were a couple of UI that were identified to fulfill the revamp of the admin interface. The one that I think is very cool is an open source UI. It's provided under the MIT license, so there's no need to pay anything. You can use it, you can change it, you can distribute it, you can do anything you want. So this UI, the URL, I put it into the Freecamp project. And if I go into the UI, it gives me something like that. So the colors are quite in the same type of colors that ShopAdvisor uses. Uh, think that this UI is totally responsive. I thought that the forms and the tables are pretty much cool, and I think that the way it is done, it's well done. Also, the CSS is clean, and the JavaScript is clean. And one of the main advantages is that it use the data tables, as you can see here. That would come in the replacement of the tables that you've seen here in the catalog. Like it searches as well as you type for anything that is found in the table. So that is the JavaScript component that I really want to use inside the admin interface. And also this UI is takes the whole size of the browser. So, and the menus are cool, and there's a yeah, you have the search, also something that doesn't exist right now. So that UI would come in replacement of the existing UI, which is totally outdated. And this is something that uh, this is the next real big functionality that will have to be revamped. And I think that the efforts for doing that are quite are quite okay, because this is only CSS, JavaScript, and HTML that has to be converted. And what I would like ideally is to have the UI to use the same services, the same API than the online uses. So we would have only one entry point for serving the shop interface, and the REST API, as well as the admin interface. Because right now, as you can see, there's a package called admin, and everything is duplicated. Everything has a different controller that does different thing. And again, the code is quite old. So I would really like to have all those things completely deprecated, and have the API to replace what was done originally in the admin here. So that being said, that was the initial discussion I wanted to share with you. Um, I invite you to let me know what are your thoughts, and what are your give me an input on that. If you have any idea or any admin UI suggestion, it's still not sure that this is the final choice. If you have anything that seems to be better, if you have any frameworks, any suggestions, we're here to discuss about that. Hopefully, you'll be able to log on into the project, and create any task, or go around with the first task, which is this as discussion around the admin UI. And following that, new task will be added to make sure that we follow the task, and create a project with deliverable out of this initiative. So let's talk later.